Welcome back to the Grow Your Nutrition Business podcast. At Healthy Steps Nutrition, we believe something as fundamental as nutrition shouldn't be complicated. We help gym owners and coaches build successful nutrition programs without reinventing the wheel. I'm your host, Nicole Aucoin, registered dietitian and founder of Healthy Steps Nutrition, CrossFit HSN, and HSN Mentoring. I'm also the author of the Basics of Nutrition Coaching CrossFit Preferred Nutrition course. I am going to teach you how to take one step at a time to build a successful nutrition program where you finally feel confident talking about nutrition to your members and your communities. When starting a nutrition program and launching a program in a gym, you really need a way to track biometrics. We know that success leads to motivation for clients to continue to work with you, and you really need to be able to show them all of their hard work is paying off. There are many different types of machines out there on the market to track biometrics. And today we are talking about the one that we use at Healthy Steps Nutrition HQ, InBody. We are talking with Jordan Suzuki from InBody. And in this conversation, we discuss what bioelectrical impedance really means, how InBody tracks those biometrics like muscle mass, water weight, body fat percentage. And we also discuss the most frequently asked questions related to testing with the InBody, like timing of testing, menstruation, hydration level, and so much more. If you are interested in investing in an InBody, click the link in the show notes so that you can grab Jordan's information and get hooked up with the HSN perks. We will get to this episode right after this message. Did you know that HSN Mentoring offers a turnkey solution for gym owners and coaches to build and grow a nutrition program without reinventing the wheel? What sets HSN apart from all of the other programs on the market is that we provide the business systems and the nutrition coaching education all in one. Danielle from Fusion Training and Nutrition said, "Partnering with HSN was one of the best decisions we made in the past 6 months. We're absolutely loving all of the support, direction from you and your team that has given us the content, training, all of it. With that being said, Jill and I are rocking it." I'm so proud of Danielle and Jill for all of their hard work to build Fusion Nutrition program and help their members, not only with fitness, but now with a comprehensive nutrition program. It's easy to get started with HSN. Click the link in the show notes, book a free call with me so that I can learn more about your business, give you a tour of the platform, and show you how we can help you turn an informal conversation about nutrition into a comprehensive nutrition program beyond a challenge. All right, let's get to this episode with Jordan, talking all about tracking using bioelectrical impedance and everything you need to know about using your InBody machine. Enjoy. Jordan Suzuki, welcome to the Grow Your Nutrition Business podcast.
Thank you for having me, Nicole.
I'm excited to talk to you. We get so many questions about InBody and biometric testing equipment. I'm excited to just dive right into first, let's understand what is bioelectrical impedance. What does this type of machine do versus other types of machines on the market?
Sure, absolutely. So bioelectrical impedance actually works by sending small electrical frequencies through your body and testing for your body composition. So breaking down your weight and showing you exactly what is going on, what your weight is actually composed of. So historically, BIA technology has had a bad reputation. And the reason for that is because a lot of people are looking at the handheld devices that they see in the gyms. And a lot of times they look at their results and they don't think it's accurate. With the InBody device being created, really we wanted to, maximize and advance the BIA methods. And so that's where, with the InBody, you have multiple frequencies, you have 8 different point electrodes. You measure the entire body of body composition. It can even break down, your measurements into showing how much muscle you have in each limb of your body. So, and in some ways you could say, you could see if somebody's actually skipping leg day. and seeing, oh, like, it's this, I've noticed that you've been skipping leg day. So we should start doing some more training on your legs. And so that's where InBody has played a role in maximizing the use of it, and really advancing it. And so technically, when you see other BIA devices on the market, like the handheld devices, or, if you go to Bed Bath and Beyond and you get a scale from there that says it's BIA technology, it's only measuring half of your body, like the handheld devices. It's only measuring the upper part of your body and assuming that the rest of your body composition is the same. But that's not necessarily that's not necessarily true for body composition. You want to be able to have a device that measures full body comp. And even with the handheld devices or other devices that you see on the market with BIA technology, you'll see that they'll have empirical data built into it. And what that means is that it actually uses estimation. So it's taking into consideration your age, your gender, if you're an athletic body type or a normal body type. But an example I could give you is, you could see, a lot of athletes out there, football players, a lot of them actually, you look at linemen compared to wide receivers. Now you look at wide receivers and running backs, they're, your typical athletic body type. But when you look at linemen, they don't have that body type. They're a little bit bigger. But really they're world-class athletes, so really they need, when you put the data in there where you're putting athletic or normal body type, it gives you different results. So how can you really trust it? Because how do you know if you're an athletic body type or a normal body type? And that's where InBody takes away all of that guesswork, and it gives you your body composition based off of the individual. So that's where it has advanced.
Yeah, I think definitely measuring at multiple points helps you get a more accurate reading. And at the end of the day, we use InBody and biometric testing as one tool to track progress. And when you're working with nutrition clients, you want to look at a lot of different tools, right? So not just having body fat percentage or muscle mass, but also looking at, measurements, how they feel. Those non-scale victories are important too. I can tell
Right.
you that from personal experience, we've had an InBody at our gym since before we opened the gym. I wanted to have an InBody. It took me, I think, a year to convince my husband that we needed one. And did we absolutely need one? I don't know, but I'm super glad that we have it. It saved us members because, a lot of people join a gym wanting to lose weight.
Mhm.
And they come in from not exercising at all to start doing CrossFit, and they start gaining some muscle. Well, we know muscle weighs more than fat. And if you're not able to track muscle mass and body fat percentage and show clients the progress, they could think this program isn't working for me. I'm not seeing the results that I want. And they would quit. When in reality, this has literally happened at our gym a few times where women have come to me and they're upset because they're not losing the weight. I'm like, well, let's just do another scan. Let's see where you're at. And then they've gained a ton of muscle, lost body fat percentage. And then they're like, oh yeah, my clothes are fitting differently. And then they start seeing those wins because they saw a win on the numbers right in front of them with that printout, which I personally love the printout. I think that the tracking at the bottom is really helpful. And you brought up an interesting point, measuring uh, legs and arms and limbs. And one of the things that we've done with a huge gymnastics facility locally is tested some of the girls and shown, okay, well, one side is much stronger than the other side. Is that stronger side going to get some overuse and increased risk for injury, or is, the weaker side at increased risk for injury? So you can use it InBody a lot of different ways besides just tracking biometrics for nutrition component.
Yeah.
We scan every single person when they come in the door. So before
Mhm.
we even sell a membership, I think it's important for people to understand where they're at. A lot of people might just do their weight in their bathroom, or they might do a weight at the doctor's office, but they don't know what their body fat percentage is. They have no idea what muscle mass is, and they have no idea what it even means. Like, if your body fat percentage says 30%, is that good? Is it bad? They don't know. So it's nice to have those charts to easily tell, okay, where are you at and what are the recommended ranges based on your age. I think it's awesome. You definitely want something in-house to measure body fat percentage if you are a gym. You don't want to be referring your clients to go get an InBody test at a supplement company or another place down the street. You want something that's convenient and in-house to your facility.
Right. And it's a big education piece for a lot of clients out there because, like you said, people don't understand that, maybe a weight increase isn't a bad thing. And it's hard to explain that and relay that message to your clients because they don't understand. Like, they just look at the number and say, oh, I've increased in weight. So they're thinking, like you said, like, oh, I don't think the program's for me. It's not working for me. But that's where there's clarification and validation showing on the result sheets that InBody is going to show you your percent body fat change, and you're going to see that loss. You're going to see the gain in lean mass. And that's where the education piece comes in for your clients, is understanding that body comp, looking at body comp is much more telling than what your weight on the scale is saying. So to your point, that's excellent that you're educating them, you're making them understand, and that outreach is working. So
Yeah, for sure.
awesome.
All right, let's talk about some of the most popular questions that we get asked regarding InBody. I think the first one that gets asked a lot is time of day. Like, what's the best time of day to um, do a test for someone?
Yeah, I mean, to keep it really simple, the best time is honestly in first thing when you wake up in the morning. But we know, people's schedules, that's not always a typical thing. They wake up and they have to get ready for work and they have a full work day. So what we usually suggest is, as long as they're keeping their testing consistent, like if they were to come in and, they come into the 6 o'clock class to do training and you do their test right before their 6 o'clock class, keep the testing environment consistent, the time of day consistent, making sure that, their schedule is staying consistent and they're following the test protocols before testing. Like, don't eat 3 to 4 hours before testing. Don't drink, a gallon of water before actually testing as well. So just keep everything consistent throughout the day, but keep those test times consistent. So consistency is key in this aspect. So.
Love it.
Yeah.
We will, if we have a member, let's say they have a nutrition appointment, and this is a scenario that happens often. They are taking the 8 o'clock class. They have an 8:30 nutrition appointment, but they're taking the 8 o'clock class. We'll have that coach scan them before the class because you want to scan them before they exercise, right?
Correct. Yes.
So scanning them before they exercise, and all of our coaches, I mean, it's so simple to do an InBody scan. Like literally anyone can do it. So one of our coaches will scan them and they go on their way, do the class, and then they'll meet with the nutrition coach after. So making sure everyone's on the same page. I think I've gotten in many discussions, calibers, like a lot of people do calibers versus InBody, or, they don't have an InBody, they'll do calibers. Here's my opinion, and I love to hear yours. I want to make it as easy as possible for a test to be replicated between anyone on my staff. And if I'm doing calipers versus you, Jordan, there's going to be a different result. And not to mention, like, I don't have that much back fat, but I don't want people pinching my back fat, right? So
Exactly.
people are not comfortable with, a lot of people don't feel comfortable in their skin. So I don't think you're making them feel more comfortable by pinching them doing the calipers. I would keep it as simple as possible. Having a machine to do it for you, I think is key.
Mhm. Yeah, agreed on that, especially, with times right now with COVID. People definitely don't feel comfortable at all being touched or having that close contact with people. And, like you said, people just don't feel comfortable in their own skin. And so it can be very invasive. And that's where InBody, as long as you take everything out of your pockets, you take any jewelry off, and you just take your shoes and socks off, you get a simple scan within 15 to 30 seconds of getting your results. And that's where the caliper test, it could take a little bit longer because there's also plug and play where you have to put it into equations and figure out, okay, is this accurate? And then if it's not accurate, you got to do another one. And that could take, some time, to actually do. And yeah, it just saves you a lot of time doing the InBody device, and you can breeze through 5 people before you even get one done with the caliper test. So it saves a lot of time for everybody.
The
Yeah,
biggest
absolutely.
thing is scalability. If I'm doing calipers and I have another coach doing calipers, we're not going to get the same results. And same
Right.
thing with like other machines. I know Sculpt was popular for a little bit. That's the same idea. If you're not measuring the exact same point, it's going to be different results. So you want to think about that when you figure out what testing machine are you going to use. All right, let's talk about eating and drinking. You mentioned no food before, like within 3 to 4 hours, correct?
Correct. Yes, absolutely. And yeah, to answer that question, usually because the InBody device isn't able to penetrate the stomach lining, so all that excess weight that is being tested it's going to actually add to fat mass. So that's the reason why you don't want to necessarily test before eating. But it's like decimal points of increased fat mass, but it's not a huge drastic change. But definitely, if you want to see and track accurate progress, then yeah, don't eat before actually testing, because then it's going to be added as fat mass for that extra weight.
All right, perfect. All right, let's talk about the next thing. And I think this is the question that we get asked most often, and it's hydration. So, how does your hydration level affect your in-body scan? And what do coaches and gym owners need to know about hydration and scanning?
The biggest key behind hydration is just as long as they're drinking an adequate amount of water. What we don't want is our clients to completely dehydrate themselves, and not drink any water at all throughout the day, especially if they're doing a 6 o'clock class and they haven't drank any water. You're going to see those type of skews and results where your lean mass is actually going to be decreased. It's going to show lower lean mass. And so that's why it's important, as long as you drink an adequate amount of water throughout the day, you'll be fine. But we're also not saying, oh, right before you test, down a gallon of water. No, because like I said, you're going to actually the water's going to be added as fat mass. So usually when you wake up in the morning, you want to just drink, 16 to 20 ounces, and you want to do that maybe an hour before testing. And that's perfect, but don't, be over the top and try to down a gallon of water and say, okay, I'm hydrated. No, that's not what we're saying. But just as long as they're keeping it adequate throughout the day, then they should be fine.
No, I've seen a few times where clients, they get a result and then the results they're not what I expected, right? Like their muscle mass is down, body fat percentage is up. I'm like, this isn't right. And we've had coaches say the same thing, like, what is going on? And the first thing I say to do is look at the water weight number, because 9 times out of 10, if the results are not in the way that you would expect and a client's been doing well with their nutrition, their water weight is gone down, which causes muscle mass to look like it's gone down and body fat to look like it's been up. And it took me a little bit too long to realize this. And it happened because I had a client who was put on diuretics in the middle of the first month of nutrition coaching.
Okay.
So diuretics are going to wipe out a lot of excess water, right? So from
Right.
the first scan of being probably overhydrated to the second scan of like losing 15 pounds of water weight because they were put on diuretics, it drastically looked like their muscle mass had gone down and their body fat percentage had gone way up. And I was like, this makes no sense, because she's done an awesome job eating and she started exercising. She wasn't doing anything before. So the first thing I look at is water weight. And there was like a 15-pound difference of water weight. I'm like, okay, well, this makes sense. Let's start now comparing the numbers instead of comparing before. And this is the reason why when you send an electrical impulse from one side of your body to the other, when you have more water weight, it's going to go faster, which is going to look like you have more muscle and less body fat percentage. Well, now it's going slower because you have less water, less bioelectrical to pass through. And it made sense. But if you can't describe that, it's going to be super frustrating for your clients if they don't see the numbers that they want. So if you see results, pro tip here, if you see results that you're not expecting, if a client's done really awesome, the first thing that you should look at is their water weight number. If it has gone down drastically, that could be one of the reasons why it looks like their muscle mass has gone down and body fat percentage has gone up.
Right, exactly. And yeah, I mean, I totally agree with that, especially, that's why we suggest even test protocols, don't drink any caffeine or don't drink coffee before testing, because like you said, it dries you out. You notice that there are fluctuations in the fluid. So then you'll notice that their lean mass will go down, their body fat mass will increase. And so, yeah, to your point, agreed. That's why on the test protocols, we do suggest don't do any of that before testing. So, yeah, but that, to your point, that's correct.
Oh, another thing to think about is your client should be hydrated the days before, not just trying to drink 16 ounces of water the morning of a scan and think like, okay, that's going to correct their hydration level, because it's not.
Right. It's definitely a consistency thing. So they have to just consistently drink water throughout the day, and make it a habit. We want to create habits for clients, and keep them on a schedule. So yeah.
Awesome. All right. Now, another female thing. Let's say someone's on their period, or like about to start their period. How is that going to affect their scan?
Yeah, so menstruation is really not the ideal time to test. And the reason for that is because of the excess fluid that women carry in their body. And it fluctuates between going extracellular and intracellular. So then you're going to notice that maybe they have increased body fat mass, maybe they increase their lean mass because of the excess water. But if let's just say like you're in the midst of a challenge and you have you're doing a scan that day, and they're on they're on that cycle, then you can test them. It's not really like drastically going to change things. We're talking about decimal points. Like if they were at 15%, it's just going to show like 15.2% body fat. So that's where it's not huge, but if they want to track their progress and be able to see the proper changes, then it's just suggested that they don't do it. But to that point where if they're doing a challenge, then and it's a test day, then that's fine. It's not like a huge deal, but it's just ideally you don't really want to do it during menstruation.
And we'll just move clients around. Like this has happened. Like, hey, we all have our periods sometimes, at least us females. So we'll just move the scan time or move the follow up visit around, so that it's not in that time. So it is a more accurate testing. I
Right.
think going back to the point of testing multiple different ways to track biometrics and have those non scale victories is going to help you as a coach or a gym owner see the bright spots, because you don't, if a scan number isn't going in the trend that you want and you haven't tested any other things, like you haven't done measurements or anything else, then your client could get frustrated, and you have to be able to let them see successes, because those successes breed motivation to continue. So think about this as one tool in all the tools that you're using to help track your client's progress.
Yeah, absolutely. Agreed with that.
One other thing that I'm thinking about, and we used to go into companies and do biometric testing for all the employees. They got an insurance break from it. And one thing that we always had to ask was pacemakers. If someone has a pacemaker, they weren't doing a scan. And, is that something people should be asking about?
So yeah, you should, because the reason why is because we don't want there to be any issues that happen. The frequencies are so small that it can't affect the pacemaker in any way, but to have that, just the thought of, okay, I want to be sure that this isn't going to hurt me. You should always just ask a physician if it's safe to actually use. So they should talk to their physician and see if it's safe to use. But the frequencies are very small that it won't cause any disturbance or any issues. But if they want to have that, like I said, if they want to have that reassurance, then yeah, just ask a physician, talk to them about it, talk to the expert.
Yeah.
I'm no expert here, so I don't know, but it definitely helps to ask somebody that would know,
Yeah,
and understand.
we personally don't test people with pacemakers, just to be, I'd rather be on the safe side than sorry.
Right.
Another thing that's come up, and it's only come up one time in 10 years, so it probably won't come up too much, but adaptive athletes, let's say someone only has one arm. You're not going to be able to get a full scan. It's not even going to actually scan. I know you guys have a way to scan adaptive athletes, or people that are in a wheelchair, but the standard 270 is not going to be the way that you would scan someone with one leg or one arm. Again,
Right.
going to measuring biometrics and tracking progress through a different way would be how you would work with those clients.
Yeah, so we actually have a model that actually uses the sticky pads, and so they can actually have it attached, and that's how they would send the electrode through. So that's actually our InBody S10. So if you do work with adaptive athletes, we do have a model created for that, because it was created for bedridden patients who couldn't get out of bed, patients in wheelchair, especially anybody that needs it, and amputees, they definitely need that type of. So the S10 is available. If you want to know more information, happy to talk about it. You could always reach out to me and ask me about it. And yeah, so that's what the model is that we use to help with the clients, for bedridden patients, for amputees, and such.
Awesome. Thanks for clarifying that. The
Yeah.
standard, the 270 model would not be the way to
Uh,
go.
no, not in this case.
Awesome. What other kind of thoughts, questions get asked often? I know we went through a lot of different things today regarding the InBody, but what kind of questions do you get asked that you want to talk about?
Yeah. Well, I mean, to ask questions to you, I mean, definitely want to learn more about your program and understand how you're implementing InBody so people that are listening to this podcast know and understand what you're doing. How long have you actually owned an InBody and how did you actually get started with it?
Yeah, so we had the InBody since I think 2015 is when we bought ours. We bought it before the gym opened, and my goal was to be able to test every single person that walked through the door before they signed up so that we can get a baseline for them. And I'm so glad that we did. We actually do goal setting sessions with our clients twice a year and test them during it. That's how we bribe them to do goal setting sessions with us. I'm very open about bribing our members, and they love it because they like to do the scans. So every single member will at least get 2 scans a year. And then nutrition clients will get scans every single month. So that's part of the progress tracking. They get scans every single month with their nutrition follow-ups. And that's a way for us to track progress and show them the successes so that they have motivation to continue. For our gym members that get tested twice a year for goal setting sessions, it goes two ways. One, they're seeing the progress that they want to see and they're doing awesome. And we give them a high five, congratulations, talk about their next goal. 9 times out of 10, what really happens is they will say, like, hey, I've hit a plateau, or I'm not seeing the results. I'm working really hard in the gym. What's going on? And then we guide them to upgrade their membership to nutrition and fitness. And even recently, maybe it was a few months ago at this point, we had a member and she's like, hey, Nicole, can I get another scan? And I looked at her and smiled, and I knew why she wanted another scan because she had gained a little bit of weight and wanted like a kick in the butt to get herself back on track. And I looked at her and I'm like, you don't really need another scan. You need a coach to help keep you accountable, and we'll give you scans every single month with nutrition coaching. And she looked at me, she's like, you're right, let me get started again. So, I think having a way to measure biometrics in house is a really great strategy. Number one, for retention, and number two, to guide clients to say, like, hey, you're not seeing the results that you want. Let's get you upgraded to nutrition so that we can help you see the results that you want.
Yeah, and that's awesome because a lot of people don't understand or maybe don't have the knowledge that the nutrition is key to actually helping like whether you put 80-20% or 70-30%, most of it is nutrition. And so if you want to see the changes and track progress, you have to stay strict to a certain diet, and understand how important nutrition is. You see bodybuilders, they have very, very strict diets that they have to follow, but you look at them and they look great. They're in great shape. And it's the same thing with CrossFitters too. If they want to be in the best shape possible, they have to make sure that they are giving themselves the right nutritional value. So that's awesome that you're doing that. And that's educating them to understand the keys to using nutrition to help them through their whole process. So that's really cool. So I guess another question is how are you currently using your InBody? Obviously, you kind of touched on it a little bit, but could you, kind of go more in depth about that? Like, are you monetizing it? What are you doing at this point?
Yeah, so we include InBody scans with our nutrition coaching, which for the first 3 months starts at 179 per month. So when we made back the InBody cost within the first few months, and now it's just a retention strategy for us for our nutrition clients and a way for them to track progress. We also have clients who are not members of our gym, maybe they're members of another gym, that come in periodically every couple months and do InBody scans, and we charge $45 per scan. So we have non-members that come in and test. I think our business is on your directory at InBody, and they find us through that. But yes, we have non-members pay for scans, and then it's included in the nutrition coaching membership. And what I told a lot of gyms, and I've told them, if you're launching with a challenge, I think that's a great way to recoup the cost of the InBody right away, right? Like you launch, your launch a nutrition challenge and use that money to invest in an InBody. What you don't want to happen is to borrow an InBody or borrow a dunk tank or have some type of biometric equipment that you're using for a challenge and then switch to a handheld device at the end of that challenge, because those numbers are not going to be able to be comparable, right? Like if my InBody scan before and after says I'm 18% body fat and then the handheld device says I'm 20, now it's going to look like I gained 2% body fat when in reality I didn't. So you want to make sure that you're having a consistent way. You don't want to just borrow a scan. And again, I really wanted something in-house so that I can easily track my clients' progress during follow-up visits and I didn't have to have them go somewhere else.
Yeah, and you like have you used other methods too? Like the dunk tank and everything, and for your clients.
We haven't used the dunk tank for our clients, but we have used other types of methods and like the armor on handheld device. I was a college athlete and I did the bod pod before. So lots of different options out there. But to me, convenience is really important in consistency.
Yeah, and also very non-invasive. You look at those other devices out there. You look at the dunk tank. Obviously, you have to be, wearing a bathing suit in order to do it. And like you said, I was in college and I was a kinesiology major, so we did all the different types of body composition testing. And it's uncomfortable. People are just standing there watching you while you're doing the dunk tank. And I remember when I did it, I was underwater and I was breathing out all the air. And she wasn't telling me that the person who was administering the test wasn't telling me, come up for air. So I blacked out for a little bit, and that was very scary because, and then I came up randomly and she was like, "Oh, you were still breathing out air from your lungs," and I could still see bubbles. And I was just like, "Oh man, like I'm not doing that again." I was like, I don't care what my results are. I'm not doing that again. But that's a scary thought. And so even people who aren't comfortable in their own skin, they have to be minimally clothed in order to do it. And it's the same thing with the bod pod. You have to wear tight fitting clothing, and it's you look at those types of devices, they're large, they're really, really big. They take up a lot of space. With the InBody, it's only 3 feet in height. The foot plates are only 2 feet. So it's really small. So you can definitely save a lot of space in your gym. And you don't have to say like have a specific room for it. You can just put it on the gym floor. You can put it in your office. So definitely convenience is the space that it takes up to is huge.
For sure. And one of the things the why we guide client like the gym owners to get the 270 is that it's super easy and portable, right? Like they
Mhm.
can take it to a corporate company, they could take it to something else and easily test clients off site with it. It's not a huge machine that's really tough. Like I can easily fold it up, put it in my trunk of my car and take it to wherever it needs to go. And we've done that with corporate companies where we've launched challenges at their facilities and packed it up and tested and then took it back to the gym after we were done. So easy to move the 270. And I'm sure you can describe the difference, but for gyms, I think the 270 is perfectly fine for them, right? I mean, of course you have like three levels of machines, and the middle level, basically the difference is intra versus extracellular water, right?
Correct. Yes. So it actually shows total extracellular water on the 570. Yeah.
Versus the 270 shows total water weight, which at the end of the day, when you're looking to help your clients achieve results, I think, the simpler you can make it for them to help them understand where they're at, the better. And having 270s, investing the $5,000 to $6,000 in a machine, I think is more than enough to get a
Yeah.
nutrition program up and going. But at the end of the day, I think the InBody is the gold standard for sure. And if gyms can afford it and invest in it, absolutely. But do you need an InBody to run a successful nutrition program? No, right?
Mhm.
Any other questions, any other things? Obviously, we work with you guys really closely. You're our rep for InBody. So when
Right.
any of our clients reach out, they're talking to you to get the HSN perks and discounts and the different things that we have for our clients, right?
Yeah, that's correct. And if people want to reach out to me, always they can email me. Very simple. It's my first name dot last name. So JORDAN Jordan s.suzuki, and that's S as in Sam, U, Z as in zebra, UKI at InBody.com. Anybody can email me if they want more information about the InBody device. They want to know the perks and everything that come included with the HSN discount and everything. So if they want to learn more, they can reach out to me. And, if they also want to call me, we can provide my number as well. So if they want to give me a call, that's fine too.
Awesome. So I'll
Yeah.
put your contact information in the show notes and some more information about InBody. And we'll put some pictures of the InBody and kind of some tips on how to use it and to increase your investment. But overall for a gym, if you are looking to add an InBody into your facility or looking to add biometrics or even to build a nutrition program, some things that I would definitely do is one, track biometrics in the free intro if you're doing a free intro. So if you have a consultative selling process where you're meeting someone in person, testing their biometrics and giving them some objective data to show them, all right, where are you at right now and what's a realistic goal? Because people have no idea what a realistic goal is. That would be really helpful to set your relationship up with them for success. And then also scanning clients monthly for nutrition programs and packages. I know some gyms that have bought an InBody and like charge an additional X number of dollars for unlimited scans per month. I see our InBody as a benefit for our nutrition program, not for anyone. We give everyone 2 scans a year. If they want another one, they can pay for it. And then we also have an option for people to just get scans if they're not members, which we do not a ton of people, but there's a couple people a month I would say that get a scan that are not members of our facility that pay us to have a scam. And it literally takes 15 seconds. It's the easiest $45 we make.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. And then doing the results interpretation and showing them, their results and understanding, what changes can be made and giving them tips and tricks to help them through the process. It just helps you. You're validating that you're talking about. You understand what their goals are, and I'm setting goals for them as well. So yeah, no, it's been great. I actually have a big question for you. I think a lot of people out there, maybe wondering like, is it worth the investment? And I guess that's the big question for a lot of business owners because, I talk to a lot of them and they always wonder like, is it worth the investment? Is it really worth it? Would you say that it's worth the investment? Like, would you say that it definitely worked for you?
So put this in context. We bought the InBody when we had no revenue coming in from the gym, right? Like I was so invested in having a way to track clients' biometrics from day one. Like, yes, 100%. I agree that it's worth the investment. But if we didn't have a nutrition program, I think that you would need to be very creative with ways that you're going to recoup the cost of the investment because, we use it as a retention tool for our nutrition clients and we use it as a way to get our members upgraded to nutrition coaching. So if I didn't have a way to upgrade clients to a membership that would increase the value that they're paying every month, I think they go hand in hand, right? Like InBody, you need a nutrition program to recoup the cost of the initial investment. But I do think that is very valuable to be able to track your clients' biometrics and prove, like just like I had told you the story of a couple clients that we had where they're like, hey, this program's not working for me. That saved them from dropping their membership and they're still members years later today. So like that alone has paid for the InBody itself.
Yeah.
So absolutely, but you definitely need to be intentional with how you are using it. When I look at gyms that don't use the InBody at all, then why did you invest $6,000 into a machine that's just sitting there, right?
Right.
So,
Yeah.
yes, it is worth the investment, but you need to figure out how you are going to get your return on the investment.
Yeah, absolutely. And we actually have an ebook created that we put together, we compiled, and this is our successful clients that have been able to, whether they want to charge per test, and they want to get that direct return on investment, it explains how they actually were able to pay off the device within the first 5 to 6 months of having their InBody. And then that extra revenue generated is just used for whether they want to do a challenge with their clients, they want to do, invest more money into the gym to show that, show the clients that they care. That's how they've had some success. And like you said, people keep coming back, and that's another way that has definitely helped. And the ebook explains that it helps with retention rate, keeping the clients engaged and continuing to come back because they see the results are change. They're making the necessary changes. They love the environment. They want to just keep coming back. And so, we have an ebook for it. So if people want to know more information on it, I'm happy to share that with you. And, you can send it out to everybody and share with everybody that, you have in your on your list.
Awesome. So we'll put that link to the ebook below this episode recording as well.
Okay.
All right, Jordan,
That's
thank you so
awesome.
much for coming on and talking to us all about InBody, answering the questions that we get asked by our coaches and gym owners regarding InBody scans and how to best utilize the machine.
Yeah, and thank you for having me, Nicole. It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Tracking your clients' progress will increase engagement and retention. Tracking progress using bioelectrical impedance and a machine like InBody is one tool to measure progress, but I would recommend that you head over to our other client-facing podcast, Nutrition Made Simple, and listen to episode 22, where we talk about 3 tips for tracking progress. If you don't currently track biometrics, here are a few considerations that we've seen with gym owners and coaches in the past that you should be aware of. The first one is not having something in-house. Maybe you send your clients to a supplement store or somewhere else. You really want something in-house that's convenient for you to track biometrics and not making your clients go the extra step to track their biometrics before an appointment. You want to be able to interpret those results, give them feedback, and be able to provide them support in those in-person visits. The next thing that you want to think about is if you are launching a challenge. And we've seen this so many times. Gym owners launch a challenge, they bring in an InBody, but then after the challenge is over, they're going to a different type of machine. Well, the thing is, when you track with different types of machines, you can't really compare the progress. It's not going to be a good comparison. Maybe it looks like your client has gained or lost a significant amount of body fat percentage, and it's not going to really track the trend. So you want to try to keep that machine consistent so that you can accurately track the trends with your clients. The last thing I want to talk about is calipers. So many people have used calipers in the past, basically a pinching machine where you pinch someone's body throughout different places on their body, and then it will give you a chart that equates to a body fat percentage. I don't know about you, but I wouldn't feel comfortable with someone pinching my back fat, let alone someone who's pretty vulnerable coming to you looking for help to lose weight and increase confidence and get in better shape. So you want, first and foremost, your clients to be comfortable. And the other thing is you want it to be easily replicatable. So if I'm tracking using calipers and another coach is using calipers, the measurements are not going to be the same. There's going to be some user error there. So you want to make sure that it is an easy way for you to track biometrics. We love our InBody because it's easy and it shows our clients that their hard work is paying off, not only with consistency, but also objective data. So if you are looking to invest in an InBody, click the link in the show notes and Jordan will hook you up. Thanks so much for tuning into this episode on tracking using bioelectrical impedance and InBody. Please don't forget to subscribe to this podcast so you don't miss another episode again. Until next week.